sorry.
Can you guys hear me?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, you can hear me.
How do we mute? Unmute.
You can mute yourself.
All right, classes. How do we unmute?
Oh, you're unmuted. I hear you.
How come I can see everyone but myself?
Is that Alice?
Yes.
Come on. Is that one of your jokes?
No, I can't.
Can you hear
I
me?
can only see.
I can hear
That is
you.
so
Okay.
weird.
Yes. Okay.
Can you guys see me?
No, I can't see you. Take off the background.
I don't know how, but I'm going to try. Hold on.
You put the background on.
Hold on.
All right.
Did that do it?
Oh my God.
I'm a computer genius.
Wow. We finally meet. Hey, I want to play something first before we go any further. And I'm going to I'm gonna see if this works. Okay. So hold on for a minute. Let me just make sure I got that turned off. And oh no, I have to share the screen. Hold on. Ah, man. Please be patient.
I see beach.
What?
I see beach on the bottom.
Beach?
Yeah, sand.
Oh, yeah, hold on. I picked the wrong thing. Just a second. Just relax.
Hey, Alice, how do you like retirement?
Oh, my God. I don't know why I didn't do it 2 years ago when I turned 66. I was crazy.
All right. Okay, here we go.
I did it at age 62, and it's almost 6 years. It's glorious.
Isn't it awesome? I still wake up thinking, oh, my God, I'm late for work.
All right. Hold on a second.
That's okay. Yep. I have nightmares about being at work, Alice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hi, Carol.
Let me see if this goes. Hold on. Ready? Set.
1971. I don't think
the
music was a reflection of the times as much as the music also caused the times.
Do you hear Marvin Gaye?
It was an incredibly tumultuous year.
That's awesome.
Politically,
it didn't work
socially,
musically.
I think the music reflects the state of the society's in.
Yep.
All these bands were making music referring to protests and the Vietnam War. That was our language.
I would like to say something that hasn't been said so much, you know.
1971 was a year of revolutionary consciousness.
1977. I mean, 71. Sorry.
This amazing music that everyone was making. It was articulating everything you're seeing and feeling.
You know, we have survived.
Things haven't changed very much.
And come out strong.
Yeah. I think this is my cross to bear. I'm a messenger.
So,
we thought that music could change the world.
I don't think you'll really have a new thing until you've got a new music.
The Peace and Flowers.
I'm going to pause there, and we're going to get into it. So, all right. So here we are. The three of us.
The three of us. 4.
Well, yeah, there's 4 including me, but I didn't graduate with you guys. And
honorary member.
I don't know where Steve. Do you call him Steve or Steven?
Steve.
I told him a friend.
He was on my phone rang, and there was this group message for a second, and he was on that.
Yeah, he was so excited about being in this, and I'm afraid he hasn't. And Patrice, I asked her to drop in, and she is not in. It says,
but we need Steve.
Where's Eileen?
Yeah, where's Eileen? I got your names of everybody. Okay.
Eileen.
So, all right, we got John Tummenelli. You're right there. You and me. We're the guy. We got Alice Dingman.
Hey.
Okay, and in the upper right-hand corner, you have to introduce yourself. Hello? You can hear me? Oh, gosh, she doesn't hear me. Eileen.
Carol.
Elaine. Carol.
Is that,
No, it's not Elaine. It must be Carol.
no, it's Eileen Kobel.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
She's, I don't know, she's not hearing us. This is a cluster F.
It's not my fault this time.
Excuse me.
I've gone from things being great.
So John Tummenelli and I are doing the show tonight. He can play, but I can't sing.
Huh. I wonder why Eileen can't hear us.
Hello?
Eileen, wait a second. I think people believe that they're on Facebook, that this is on Facebook when it's not. It's not on Facebook. This is on
StreamYard.
StreamYard. All right. Well, I don't know what to do about Eileen. Anybody got any ideas? Should I throw
I don't
her
have her phone number. I call her. I think all she's got to do is hit the mic button.
She's off.
Hold on.
Who can call her? You can call her?
Hello? Who's this?
It's not.
Okay, Carol is asking, all of a sudden, she disappeared from her computer. I can hear her on my smartphone. How does she get back on?
She just has to go into Facebook Messenger and click on that link.
That's what I did.
That's what you did, John.
That's what I did. Carol, did you hear that?
She's in her email.
It's not in her email.
I know she wrote that message about putting it in her email, and I thought, you have to tell her to click there in the messages.
I don't have her email. If she tells me if she tells John, hold on.
I can hear you. It's C. Levitt.
Hold on just a second. Hold on. C. Levitt.
At yahoo.com. C. Levitt 13.
C. Levitt 13.
At yahoo.com.
.com. The link.
Well, no, I'm on the StreamYard thing, the one that Strachan told us to link on.
Glenn.
The YouTube link will not work, Carol.
YouTube does
not.
This is what you get. We're old.
Oh my God, you can't be this old.
No, I'm not. I have to tell you, though, my husband's like that. I have to go, no. You need to. He's always doing stuff like that.
Hey, John, I sent her the link.
Hey, Carol?
Just click on it.
Glenn said that he sent you the link to get signed in again.
Just click.
Email.
She was, I don't think she was ever in.
She was on the phone call, so I think she thought she was on. Steve called us all like a group message call?
Yeah, that's where it went wrong. That's exactly what screwed this all up.
Yeah. I just shut off my phone and came back here.
Yeah, there's none.
It's a good thing that I can hear. I have my phone going.
So can you tell us any good jokes, Alice?
Yes, but is this being recorded?
Well, yeah, actually it is.
Shut up, everybody! Carol, what did you say?
You know, this should be the whole show, Glenn. This is what are.
Shut up! Shut up! Trying to tell you, trying to tell Glenn. All right. What did you just say?
Oh my God.
Shut up, Glenn. She said, Glenn, your email did not come through. Oh, the link just came through.
Click on it.
No, you're not.
Now she has to continue in. Continue. Yes. 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 For God's sake, yes. Enter studio.
I am there. Hello. Now how do I shut my phone off?
You have to hang up.
I turned the whole thing off.
I don't see Carol.
I'm there on the bottom left. I can't get my phone to shut off.
Hey John.
Carol.
Hey John, hang up. You guys, you're creating kickback. Here's Eileen Turner.
I'm going to go put my phone out of the room.
Can you hear me, Eileen?
Strachan, I can create more noise than you would ever believe.
Oh, really? I had to use my phone. Sorry, guys.
All right, we're in. Oh no!
I have an echo because I can't get my phone to shut up.
No, if you can turn what phone? You know what it is? You're in the Facebook chat. That's why you have an echo.
Hang on, let me see if I can turn off Facebook.
Alice, this is amazing.
Yes, I am. I think this is a very good representation of what we've become in 50 years.
I was going to say all these good things about you guys. Hey, John, the problem is that you're coming in hot on somebody's phone.
Where's Steve?
I don't know. He was so excited about being part of this. And
I saw him on the chat thing when my phone rang.
Yeah.
Well, you got to understand what Steve has been going through, all right? Trying to liquidate, his mom's house, her possessions, and that's a tough thing. And then he has to deal with what went down in Florida.
Yeah.
With a couple of people that he knows.
That's amazing. I was going to mention that today. So here we are, the five of us. So let's start by saying here we are, getting to know you. I started this as a way of dealing with COVID and getting people to know one another, and started with my own class of 75. And then Patrice said, hey, let's do class of 71. And so we've been running the 50th anniversary of the class of 71. So
Unbelievable.
today we're supposed to have, well, we do have Alice. We're supposed to, well, let me see. Do we have, we don't have Eileen.
No, I'm here.
You're there. Okay, so we have Eileen. We have Carol.
Hello.
We
But
don't.
where's Elaine?
Where's
What
Elaine?
happened to Elaine Ross?
Yeah, she didn't come in. I saw her on that talk when Steve called it, and she was on that. But that was it. And we have John Tummenelli, who I was his brother's classmate. So I know Alice, but I've never met Alice.
Everyone knows Alice.
We know
Go
Alice.
ask Alice. I think she knows.
Wait a second. Steve is forwarding a link. I don't know why Steve is forwarding a link. So he should click the link. So,
On the same thing, send him the link to this on that. Answer him with the link.
I did.
Do it again.
Click.
It took a minute for my link to come through.
I don't have any email for him.
You notice there's 3 females and 1 male from our class.
All right.
Just saying.
Let's get underway. All right. So I did play a video, and it was about the year of 1971 and the music. And I've determined that your class, more so than any other, spanned, the most difficult times, I think, in between 68 and 71 were some amazing times that we went through. Great music, Kent State, stuff happening, women's movement, gay movement. So I'm glad to have you guys here joining us today. So what I'd like to start off with is asking you each if you could just tell me, we still have Steve trying to get in. I'm going to tell him to call my phone. Call me. And I'm going to put him on the phone. So if you guys just give me one more second.
Sure.
413. All right. As long as he doesn't do feedback, we should be okay. Okay, here he comes.
Waldman.
Here he comes. All right, Steve, you're on.
Yes, sir.
You're part of the group now. Although you're on.
Thank you.
You're on my phone.
Okay.
All right, so we're just starting. I don't know why your video didn't work, but I'd rather just get underway. And
okay, that's fine.
Alice says this proves that you guys being out of high school 50 years, it just proves that they're difficult. You've got difficulty. So anyway, I am glad you went out and got earbuds. But anyway.
Well, they sold me the wrong ones first, but I got the new ones, so just now, believe it or not.
Cool. All right. So on the screen, we have 4 of your classmates, and John Tummenelli's here, Carol Levitt's here, Eileen Turner is here, and Alice is here. So I like to start off, and since Steve just came in, can I call you Steve or Steven?
Steve is fine.
Why don't you start by saying where you lived, where you went to elementary school, and how your parents ended up in Wantagh. I see that you're selling stuff from the house, but mementos. But why don't you give us a rundown?
Wow. Okay, my parents moved out from the city. They came to Wantagh in 1951 to Lufbury Avenue, And I was one of the people who went to Sunrise Park School, not Wantagh, and met a lot of great people at Sunrise Park School, and got kind of sad when they took the school down. Part of my thing is like landmarks and preservation of architecture and things of that nature. I hate to see things coming down like that. But anyway, and I went to obviously the junior high school, and
we're going to get into the future. I just want to know what part of Wantagh so I could figure out how to relate to you. Because
Wantagh Woods, Prairie Avenue.
See, I can relate to people from the woods. So that's better for me. So let's Carol.
Yes.
What part were you from, and how did you end up there?
In 1959, when I was just turning 6 years old, my parents moved into Jonathan Lane, the Holloway Park Drive community, on Christmas Eve. And I went to Forest Lake Elementary until the 4th grade. And unfortunately, I was a victim of bullying back then. And it got so bad that the only way that the principal of the school knew how to deal with it was to have me transfer schools. So I transferred from Forest Lake to Wantagh School, which was on Beach Street.
Yeah.
So I transferred in the 4th grade, and it kind of it traded one set of problems for another. While I wasn't being bullied at Beach Street, the community of friends that I was able to make there were too far away from where I lived to actually engage with. Because every day I would go to another section of Wantagh, and they would go back to their area of town.
Yeah, I understand that. Hey, Steve, when you're not on, when you're not talking, can you hit mute?
Sure, of course. Sorry.
Yeah, I always thought about that, Carol, with my own children who went to a school in Annapolis, but it was all the way on the other side of town. And so there were, where we live downtown, there were no kids that they went to school with. So it's, a question of how that, how that happened, how they create friendships. But when you were in school, our natural tendency was to stick to neighborhoods, and that's how you gain friends. But it's I think it's interesting that Steve went to Sunrise Park, but lived in the woods. But everyone's mixed up. It's in our years, particularly in 74, 75, they split us up in 4th grade. They split us up in 3rd grade, because of the numbers. But I'm sorry that you had to deal with bullying. I know that's not a fun thing.
No, it wasn't. It was very difficult. And, unfortunately, it still continues today. And I think it may be even more of a treacherous path that the kids have to traverse because of the internet. Because the kids are dealing with, once it goes viral, it's out there and it never disappears.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. John, your turn.
My turn. Okay. We moved from East Flatbush in Brooklyn, all right, which gradually turned into the ghetto, to Wantagh in a late summer of 1964. So, at the time, I lived in a very, very cocooned and restrictive existence because of the nuns, my parents, and everything else. So, we moved to Wantagh, and despite their failed efforts to get me into St. Francis, I spent my first school year at the Beach Street School. That was 6th grade, where I was exposed to things like gym, playgrounds, and curse words and rock and roll.
Mrs. Lamb.
Mrs. Lamb. Okay. I loved her. Still do. And like Carol, right, because I was physically undeveloped and I had no conception of the culture coming from, an urban environment to Wantagh, I got picked on. And by junior high, I really got picked on until I beat the living crap out of the ringleader. I won't use his name. After that, things got really, really cool.
That's
right?
good.
And by the time I got to high school, I developed this anti-authoritarian streak that carried me through to graduation. I will not tell you some of the things that I did, maybe in private.
Well, it seems like you're still anti-authoritarian.
Oh, always.
Yes, it's probably a good way to be.
Yeah,
So,
including you.
Yeah. Eileen,
Yes.
go ahead.
All right. So I was born and grew up in Wantagh my whole life. My parents moved from Freeport, so we've been Long Islanders our whole time. We're also Long Island potato farmers. So going back, I actually did attend St. Francis de Chantal. And then I went into the middle school. And I always had I lived in Maxwell Drive, which was off of, by Crest Road and Martin Drive, like the commercials, the coffee makers, between Loveberry and Jerusalem Avenue was Maxwell Drive. So
yeah, I can't even picture it. I usually remember these things.
Well, if you go down my street, it was they were building 135, the Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But before that, there was a garden center and everything else.
Yeah.
It was all woods down there.
Yeah, I grew up on Temple Drive, and behind us was the woods, and then they put the Seaford Oyster Bay behind there. But I remember all the farmhouses back then. So now it's Alice.
Well, I moved to America in 1964, just when I was starting 6th grade. And my parents bought a house in Wantagh Woods on Lehigh Road in between Princeton North and South. And I'm trying to think, but the first month, the people wouldn't get out of the house. So I lived on Jerusalem Avenue in a loner house until the people finally moved out. But we moved there because my father became principal of secondary education and my mother was teaching at Levitt. So I came from a pretty sheltered and strict environment. And I also went to Beach Street School. I had Mrs. Dreyfus. And I actually wanted to go to Francis, but my father said it would look bad if the daughter of the principal was going to a Catholic school, so he wouldn't let me go. And from what I'm told, I was better off.
You were very what?
They said I was better off going to Beach Street.
Yeah,
he was smart.
Yeah, Jean Preller, my wife, has told me many things about St. Francis. So I'm sure Eileen can confirm some of those things.
I had a very good experience. I don't know if, I followed older brothers that were very good. So yes, I did have Sister Bernadette, but
yes, Sister Bernadette.
But if you kind of play by her rules, you did fine. So
I went to confraternity, so I knew who all of them were. I met
Francis. Gee, it smells. Place.
Yeah, it's
just hated it.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the stories I've heard about St. Francis. So you should all know I am married to Jean Preller, and her brother graduated with you, John Preller. So unfortunately, he is no longer living. He's deceased.
John was my boyfriend in 9th and 10th grade.
Any relation to Alan Feller?
Yes.
I went out with Allie too. I went
Yeah,
out
they're
with
all
both.
related. There's 7 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my older sister was very good friends with Neil, the oldest. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But we lived a few blocks from them, so.
Yeah, I can't believe you lived on Lehigh. You know,
I did.
didn't realize that because I played on Lehigh.
So did we. Yale Court, Lehigh, Jane Street, all the people in that area. That's why I have so many friends that are a year behind me or 2 years behind me, because that was basic age group in that.
I used to go up there to see Mark DaCosta and some other people who lived up there. Bruce Newberg lived up there.
Yep, I knew that family too.
So.
Oh, you used to play basketball with Mark, right?
With Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But and there was Danny. I can't remember Danny's last name. He lived right next to Mark. His brother graduated.
O'Connor?
No,
No,
he graduated. His brother graduated in '62 with my brother. My parents moved to Wantagh in 1949.
Oh my God.
But my father is from Freeport. So I know, Eileen, you were in Freeport?
Yep.
But
Freeport.
you were just a kid.
Both my parents were born and raised in Freeport.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Well,
my grandfather. Yeah, my mom's still alive.
My mom's from Freeport too.
I'll ask her.
So you're all real Long Islanders. I was the only import. I came from way up by the Canadian border, and everybody made fun of my accent the whole first year.
Yeah.
Although now
I'm so impressed.
I speak Long Islandese when I have to. I can still do it. I can talk.
I never do.
That's okay. Yeah, I was. My wife used to make fun of my accent all the time when I say coffee, quarter.
Yeah. Every once in a while it slips out, and my coworkers will turn and look at me. I'll say, like, I don't know, the radiator and or my pajamas. Here it's pajamas, you know, and I'm like, oops, I mean pajamas.
Yeah. Gene will call it a mall. MAWL.
Yeah, mall.
Yeah. Mall. But you got to understand, my grandparents were British and Canadian, and they did not permit New York accents. So I grew up without having one. But I just wanted to tell Eileen, my grandfather owned 5 plots on West Side Avenue, right on the water. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, and that's where my father grew up, and it was quite amazing to have that, to be able to go to that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. My dad was Main Street across from the canal.
Okay. All right. All right. So back to Stephen. So Stephen.
Yes, sir.
So you're standing. I saw the announcement that you put on Facebook where you said it's been 50 years exactly yesterday. I think it was since graduation. So
it was Sunday to 27th, 1971. Exactly the same day, same. Yeah.
Right. So you're on Lawrence Field. I guess it's named after Dr. Lawrence. And and what did you want to be, and what did you end up being? And tell us what your trajectory has been since then.
Well, I was going to school for hotel restaurant management, business administration, and Roland Massarelli was furious at me, my band director, because I was like all state, I was doing all these recitals and doing quite well at that. And he was right. I should have, gone into that. I went into that, and I wasn't really happy. I I just didn't really enjoy it like I thought I would. I would have nightmares about waiting on tables Mother's Day, having all that stuff happen. And I worked at Holiday Inns. I worked at a couple of different hotels. Then in Florida, I moved to Florida in September '78. I took a one-way trip and hung out with Jonathan and James DiDonato. And we would party at the beach, and I ended up staying there. And I ended up going back. I had a part-time job with Electrolux. Sorry, John Tummenelli. And
that's okay.
I got into that, and I became pretty good at it. I got into management. Managed a couple of offices: Fort Myers, Naples, Fort Lauderdale, North Miami. And like everything else, it became internet, and everything just kind of went the way of the computer, and direct selling was kind of a thing of the past. And then I went back into music. My daughter started playing flute, and I started going back into clarinet. And thanks to Mr. Massarelli, he got me back into it, and I've been doing that for about 17, 18 years, and I've been working with the schools. I'm a clinician. I work with kids, students on clarinet, sax, and I do some piano now. And it's a lot of fun. And I still do the direct sales thing too, but more of the other. And I still work. I like working. I can't retire. I can't stay still. And I ended up coming back full circle to Wantagh. As I said, I moved to Florida in '78, and my father passed away in 2006. Well, my father was a very prominent animator for Max Fleischer. He developed Popeye, Betty Boop, Cast for the Ghost, and we were in school. We weren't allowed to talk too much about it. We were not supposed to, talk about Dad that much. We were downplaying the whole thing. And he got famous again. I started managing him, and then unfortunately he passed away. And my mother just passed away in August, and the house here was supposed to be sold to developers, and I was too sentimental about it. I ended up buying it back from my brother. He wanted to sell to developers, and it was going to be torn down, a couple of houses put up. And it's my second house now, believe it or not, and I'm renting it out. Just renovated it, fixing it up. So I actually came full circle back to Wantagh. I'm still in Florida. I should be like 3 people. So.
Snowbird.
You said you were on Loughbury, right?
I'm on Loughbury right now. I can walk to Maxwell Drive. I know exactly where Eileen was. I'm right around the corner from it right now.
And
Exactly.
On Loughbury,
Steve's
they had
mom's house is
larger.
beautiful.
Yeah, they had double yards, right? They had a.
Yeah, we have a double yard here, and it could be rezoned. It could be rezoned for 3 houses. And as I said before, I'm very much sentimentally attached to antiques, landmarks, collectibles, and all that. That's my other job, collectibles. And I couldn't part with it. I could never come back to the area and see this house torn down. So I worked like all kinds of things to get this house, and I finally have it.
Cool.
And I'm very happy I do. And no McMansions on this area here. I'm walking outside of a big, beautiful yard, and I can see all the way to Gaston Street and the expressway. Yeah, it's
Cool.
Beautiful.
Does
We should say
collectible
thank you.
mean that you're a hoarder?
No, my mother was. My mother was an antique hoarder. My mother collected so many antiques and so many things, and I've made like a couple trips over getting rid of stuff, and I'm getting rid of the last bit of it because the basement was too crowded full of stuff. You know, yeah. I'm more into numismatics. I'm into rare coins, precious metals. Old coins from the early 1900s. I do estates. I do appraisals and buy and sell that stuff. So I'm pretty busy with everything. Counterfeit detection.
I remember somebody on Silverton having a swimming pool and used to give swimming lessons. And the Mooney family is another family I knew from your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, well, so you're living all over the place, and you did end up doing what your heart wanted.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm having so much fun now, and I just took on something, and I said, I would love this house to be renovated. I always said that to my father. He said, no. I renovated it. I did what I said I was going to do. I'm sorry that I ran to see it, but it looks great.
Cool. That's great.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So you can move your phone. I'm going to Carol. So Carol, it's the 27th of June, 1971. And you said, I want to be, and you went where, and you did what?
I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was 17 years old and had no clue. I went to Nassau Community College my first year. And remember, I did very well academically the first quarter. And one of my aunts said to me, why are you going to community college? You need to challenge yourself. If you're doing this well, you need something better than just doing a community college. So I went into the counselor's office and said, I want to apply for state schools, and what do I need to do? And she says, oh, you're just so ahead of the curve. You've got a year and a half to go before you have to apply, and you're thinking ahead. And I said, no, I'm talking about applying for next year. And she said, the deadline is in 2 months. I said, okay, so what do I do? And so I went ahead and I applied, and ultimately I was accepted to State University of New York at Albany and went there. And my mother's decree was, I don't want you to be like your brother and get a nothing degree, get something. And so I ended up getting a teaching degree, which I never used, but I never regret having taken it. And, because there are a lot of life lessons learned in knowing how to teach. And, but I realized it was not going to be a course that I would be happy, a trajectory I would be happy on. It wasn't going to be a 9 to 3 kind of job. I would be up at 7 and I would be working till 11 o'clock at night. I did it when I was student teaching. And I realized that wasn't the type of, that I would have been one of these dedicated teachers who my whole life would revolve around it. And I wanted more than that. So I ended up graduating from college and got a job working as an office manager for a neurosurgeon, which I was definitely not qualified for, but managed to take over his office and managed his 2 offices, one in Massapequa Park and one in Hempstead. And after 2 years, I had been the only child that had come home to live with my mother and my stepfather. And my stepfather was very old-fashioned, and he wanted to retire to Florida, but wasn't going to do it until I was married or somehow in a permanent situation that he felt comfortable with. Well, I realized I had to do something, and I had visited Atlanta. My brother had come down here for law school, and I had visited Atlanta, thought it was a very young and upcoming city, and gave my parents 2 weeks' notice and said, I'm moving. Had no job, had no place to live, just got in the car and drove. What did I know? And here I am, over 40 years later, and happy that I did it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Boy, you've seen a lot of change in Atlanta. That's for sure.
Oh, a dramatic change. I mean, there was one hotel in downtown Atlanta when I moved here in 1977. Now it's just, the landscape has changed so dramatically. It is still a young community, a very not transient, but there's more transplants here. There are not very many native Atlantans.
Yeah.
It's very rare to find somebody who is, born and raised here in Atlanta. After being here since 1977, I reached the status of being an almost native. And one of the biggest challenges when I first moved here was understanding the accent. And it finally got to the point where I'd say, it's not your Southern speech, it's my Northern hearing. And the other thing that I often got was, you're a Yankee. And, after I heard that, enough times, I finally would look at them and directly address it and say, yeah, but we won the war. That usually ended that comment.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, wow. So I remember I know this is de rigueur, but do you remember Aunt Fanny's cabin at all in Atlanta, just outside Atlanta?
No, I don't.
It's it was a horrible restaurant as I think back, but it was antebellum, times, and it was based on antebellum, and
I think I remember hearing of it, but I never went to it.
The servers put the menu around their neck, and it was hanging down on their, it was a wood, and you would pick off of it. And I remember even then thinking, this is a very weird place. So, but
we had the Ku Klux Klan here.
Oh yeah.
I could remember the Ku Klux Klan, being in Cobb County and being, an active organization in my lifetime here.
Lester Maddox's tea shop, tie shop in the underground, and he was part of the KKK, secret member.
I mean, it's frightening to think of what went on here, and this was in my lifetime.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm Alice. I'm saving you, and John. I'm saving you because I figured the two of you are going to have humor with interspersed through your presentation.
Never.
So, never. So Eileen, it's the day of graduation. You knew exactly what you wanted to do, and you went and did it.
Absolutely not. But I did know that I was going off to college, which was just something that was part of our family. Everyone had to go to college. So I graduated from Bowling Green State in Ohio. And during that time, I actually started out as a art history major because I loved museums and was raised by going to a lot of art museums. But at the time at Bowling Green, you had to be an artist, and I didn't have that talent. So I switched everything over to sociology, and then I took some business classes, and I started working on campus. I advanced from the cafeteria working to the bursar's office. And at that time, I thought, I really love the business world. So when I graduated, I came back home, and Mrs. Philbin, Timmy Philbin's mom, was working at Aetna Life and Casualty. I got a job, with her help, and I became an underwriter in the casualty end. And I was transferred up to Rochester, New York, which was a lot of fun and wonderful friends. But then I thought, let's go back home and live in the city. So I came back and lived in the city, continued my field of insurance, then got married, had children, and I spent time in a school district working. And from there, I then went to AT&T Wireless for over 18 years as a quality assurance and internal fraud. So I did get a lot of people fired, but if you put money on somebody else's account, that's the breaks. But from there, I then, the company itself had, with all the mergers came out in 2015, they obviously have to let go of people. So we had a mass let go, and I was one of them. And I went back into insurance, and I got my license. I'm an agent, and I do commercial casualty. I really love it. It's like a very natural thing for me, and still working. And I don't know, maybe I'll retire at 70. I'm not sure, semi-retire. But I definitely enjoy the insurance field. Very challenging, a lot of things going on since the COVID. So I've been happy with it.
Where are you living, Eileen?
I'm actually in New Jersey now.
Okay.
So in northern New Jersey, Pompton Lake.
Okay.
So, yeah, when I was married, we lived in Brooklyn, John. We were in the Flatbush area. And then I have brothers that live in New Jersey, and so we decided to come over the river. So we've been here. I've been here many years. So In fact, I'm going out to Long Island on Saturday. So I still have family there, so it's very easy for me to go back and forth.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jean's mother is 95 and lives in Greenport, so we visit her as often as possible. She still has 5 living kids, and so they schedule the visits. So
Exactly.
we get to go out there.
My mom's in Sarasota, so I go down there a lot.
Oh, cool.
But,
I will be in Sarasota in a couple of months.
Oh,
so
there you go.
I'll stop by. I'll say hi.
That would be so nice. Maybe your parents do know my parents.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that your parents know the same people my dad grew up with. Well, how old's your mom?
96.
All right, my dad would be 97. So I'm sure that because I know all my father's friends, and like the names are synonymous with who's who in Freeport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
All
we'll
right.
have to talk.
So I'm flipping a coin. It's heads. Okay, it's John Tummenelli. So John, you were anti-disestablishmentarianism from 7th grade on, or whenever you punched that person in the face. So
can you name him?
Oh, I don't know.
I could. Sorry.
I will not name him because I'm such a nice guy. All right. My story is a long one. Would you care to hear it?
Yes.
No, I'll tell it to you anyway. All right. What was the question?
Oh, just tell us what happened after the 27th of June, 1971.
Okay. After that day, all right, I was not arrested. For starters.
That's good.
Yeah. I spent my freshman year at Lehigh University. Not because I wanted to go there. It's because my parents forced me to go there, and I hated it. All right? I was an engineering major. Then, after my freshman year, I transferred to Hofstra University, where I found kind of like traction getting into radio and broadcasting. Right? Maybe you remember my love for mass media.
Yeah.
Okay, so after I graduated, I decided that I was fed up with New York and Long Island. I flew out to the Bay Area to visit a cousin of mine who was living there, and I decided, oh my God, I just love this place. I got me a job, and a month later, I moved to the Bay Area. From there, it went from media to real estate, which led me into a career where for the last 26 years, I was a housing official for the state of California. I retired 6 years ago, and now I'm involved with audio engineering, playing in a band, having bands over at my home recording studio, and doing just about everything that I wanted to do since I was age 18.
Applause. That's great.
So, if anybody wants some of my recordings, I can send them to you. As a matter of fact, one thing I want to tell you guys is that today I made a copy of our Goofy senior movie. Right? Here it is. And I sent the link to Kathy Hughes. And hopefully she was able to, open it up and watch it. If she can, I asked her to upload it to the website, our reunion website.
Yeah, you have to upload it to YouTube and put a link in to Facebook.
I understand that. I sent Kathy the link, and I'm going to leave it up to her to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. Are you coming back for the reunion, John?
I will not be returning for the reunion. No, for a couple of reasons.
Oh, okay. Because the guy you punched is going to be there?
What's that?
The guy that you punched is going to be there?
I have no idea.
Just kidding. And do you live near
And,
Mark?
that's not the reason, Glenn. The connections from Sacramento to New York are horrible, right?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
want
sure.
to be wearing a mask for 12 hours at a time.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
So, how far do you live from Mark, your brother?
He's about 45 minutes away.
Yeah. I saw him at our reunion. He was doing great. You know, it was great to see him after 40 years. So,
Yeah.
but, or 35, whatever it was. So when I last saw him. So, well, that's cool. I'm glad you're doing the stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's
I just don't, Glenn, I just don't want to be in New York on 9/11 either.
yeah, no, that's true. I forgot that it's that day. I actually asked Kathy if I could go so I could meet some of you guys, and she said yeah. So I'm going to be up there anyway.
That's awesome.
That
Yeah.
is.
So Alice, it's your turn. Alice, my dear friend.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I knew what I wanted to be from the day, I'm serious, from kindergarten until I graduated, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And that's exactly what I did. And I taught for quite a long time, but I majored in English and minored in psychology, but I ended up teaching ESL because, long story, but I was living in Mexico City, Mexico. So I ended up teaching ESL. And then I moved to San Francisco. And I wish I had known you then, John, because I was so lonely in San Francisco. I didn't know anybody. And I'm serious. I read the phone book, looking to see if I could find somebody that I knew in San Francisco.
We could have gotten married, Alice.
Damn. You see, life's lost opportunities, right? I was there for the World Series earthquake, just in time for that. I was in the one in Mexico City with 30,000 deaths, and then I moved to California and brought another one with me. But so anyway, I came back to New York. We've always had a cottage on Lake Ontario, and I was at the cottage, and BOCES offered me a job. And I started working for BOCES in the migrant tutor program. And then the school that I was working that program in offered me a job if I would get certified in New York State. So I went back to school to get certified. And that's how I became a registered nurse. I don't know what happened. I got into chemistry, which is one of the classes I needed. And they were all pre-nursing students. And I must have turned down the wrong hallway because when I finished, I was a nurse. So now I know it's like life is so weird. But there's a lot of teaching and nursing, and there's a lot of nursing and teaching. So it really sometimes, in fact, I was a public health nurse for a while, and I used to feel like I was a migrant tutor with a stethoscope, you know? It wasn't, I mean, there were some differences, but it wasn't all that thorough. The last 16 years of my career were in psychiatric nursing, although I did cardiac nursing for a long time before that too. But I really did like the psychiatric nursing. And because I'm small and I can run really fast, I've never been injured or anything. So anyway, that's what I retired from. On May 28th, I retired, but I might go back in a casual, like work a couple weekends a month or something like that, because I'm not the sit still type. I think I'm kind of like John in that respect. And basically, that's how I ended up always knowing I wanted to be a teacher and being a nurse.
Where did you come up with all these jokes that you post?
Crazy stuff. Sometimes I have a little notebook, and sometimes I hear people saying them in the olden days when I actually went in Walmart, that was a great source of things that patients have said. I have to kind of change it around a little bit, but things that I see a ton of like they're in joke form online, and I just change it around to fit the situation. You name it, I'll steal it. I always wanted to change my name to Steal My Status, but you don't have to share it. You can copy it and paste it.
Alice, where are you living now?
I'm living in Watertown, New York, which is about, I think I am like 23 miles or something from the border with Ontario. I'm right next to Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River, up near the
I know
Thousand.
where you are because I have a friend that lives in Parrish.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my God. There's a reason they call it Parish, because in the wintertime I used to commute to Syracuse, which is it's a long commute, about an hour, to work at a hospital, Krause Hospital. That's when I worked in cardiac nursing. And Parish was where the whiteouts were just terrible. That's
Very
funny.
rural.
And you're in Atlanta, right?
I'm in Atlanta. I'm in
I
a
have-
suburb of Atlanta called Tucker.
I have a bunch of my family in Emory.
That's like 15 minutes away from where I live.
Yeah, I was going to say my niece and her husband are doctors there at Emory itself, and then my younger sister lives there too. Weird, small world.
It is.
I'm going to have to friend you so that because I'm going to go through there in October, so.
Please contact me.
I will. I definitely will, Carol. Absolutely will. So that's how I ended up. But psychiatric nurse, I think that's very appropriate,
Yeah.
I have to say.
Well, it's
Alice, I tried to refer a patient to you.
Yeah, we've heard about him. And in fact, we've had him on our unit many times.
Oh, well, Anthony Dede?
Oh, no, it was somebody more. We have a lot of people who think they're the president, so, that would be a good one.
Hey, anyone want a cat?
Oh, I got a few myself.
not quite a cat person.
I am.
So,
I have 2 boxers.
Oh.
All right. So,
stands a boxer and a fighter by his name. Hey, cat, get out of my way.
So we have 15 more minutes left, and I wanted to go back to Steve. And it's hard to ask you about the question about Wantagh because you're living there and you have a favorite teacher. You think Maz was your favorite, or you've said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what
Maz is my favorite, but I imitated so many. I used to imitate Puckmuller.
Yeah. But if you the person you are now, what would you tell the person you were then? Is there anything you would have done, you would have told them to do differently? Would they have even listened? I'm sure John would have said something to John and John wouldn't have listened. So
repeat the question again to me.
The question is there something that you might have told yourself, your younger self, back in Wantagh? Because we know the other stuff that would have changed your life, or have you led the life you wanted to lead?
I would consider myself a late bloomer. I would have told myself, take a chance. Because I grew up in a really sheltered type of environment where, no, you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to, whatever. I would say, take a chance. And this is what I've been doing a lot of the last 30 years, taking a chance on things that I normally would not have done. I mean, everything my father would say, I would do the opposite later on. And it's benefited me.
Yeah.
Taking a gamble and not finding out. If you don't do something, you'll never find out. Like this house, for example, in Wantagh. Taking a chance on renovating it and making it into a show place, and
And
renting it and having fun.
Did you say renting it?
Yes, renting it. Yeah.
All right. So
I live in Florida.
Yeah, no, you live in Florida, I know, but I wasn't certain what you were doing with the house in Wantagh. So whether you actually came up during the summers to live in Wantagh. So
well, I could do that, but it's actually hotter here now than it is in Florida. So today, for example, it's a mess here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I have a
100 degrees here.
Yeah. I have a friend who lives in Moses Lake, Washington, and it's going to be 117 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah, they broke all records. Yeah, I heard that.
And it's the
crazy.
hottest ever. So,
well, it's a climate change. It's like Wantagh. I was here Memorial Day. It was 55 degrees during the day. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The next week it was 94. So next week, crazy.
Well, I live on the Chesapeake, and the water is right. I'm pointing to the water. It's right there. And it has been cold and windy here the last week.
Oh my God, it's boiling.
Yeah, so it just happens. So anyway, I wanted to actually first say something to Carol. What you said about being bullied and what happens to kids now. My son was bullied mercilessly in school through 8th grade, and he said, "Dad, I want to go somewhere. I want to go to a boarding school. I found a boarding school," and that's what we ended up doing. And he chose the boarding school. It was outside of Philadelphia, and it was a great 4 years for him, and it really changed his life. Getting away from the people, 3 kids who were merciless to him, and so, but so I saw it from a father's perspective. And John, I used to get in fights all the time, and my problem was I never backed down. And I would confront bullies, at Wantagh, and I could name them. I see them on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
I went to a reunion with
The log.
Went to a reunion with one of them, and and it's just like I don't have enough time in my life to give them another moment. But it's just I never backed down, but it taught me good lessons in life and how to stand up for myself. But Carol, I was wondering what you took away from Wantagh and whether there were any teachers that really resonated with you.
I think the teacher that Prudence Hessler, my social studies and history teacher, because I ended up majoring in history in college. There was something about the way she taught history that really sparked my interest, and that's what I ended up majoring in.
Yeah, Prudence Hessler was my favorite, and I took the history AP class and took a test and almost got a perfect score. And I've always loved history, but she was great. She actually took care of me, but that's cool. So how about Eileen?
Yes.
Anybody resonate to you? Anything about Wantagh?
Well, I know that you have asked that question, and through my mind, I'm thinking of all the teachers. And the one was in middle school, Mr. Rio. He was an English
Hold on
teacher.
just a second. Hold on.
Sure.
Hey, Steve, you have to mute your phone.
Sorry. Hold on.
Go ahead, Eileen.
Well, what I was saying, that the one teacher that I was very impressed with and I really enjoyed was Mr. Real. He was in middle school and English teacher, and it was just somebody that I felt that I was able to still talk about some of the things that he has mentioned through my life with a smile, of course. So I think he was the biggest one. But what I really always enjoyed was sports. So I was on the swim team, and I was able to, with Mr. Bongiorno.
Yeah.
And I worked with him as a lifeguard and so forth. So I swam through college. I actually started swimming in 3rd grade competitively. So I swam through college and did the masters. And now I'm very much, a hiker, bicyclist, and still swim. And I just think I love gym class. I never wanted to be a gym teacher, but I did enjoy our classes. I must be the only one that thinks exercise is so important in a way.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and Miss Arbuckle she was very good. And I think that's what I really carried out with me for the rest of my life, that the English teacher and the English pet peeves topic, and then just activities. But
yeah,
I love your question. Like, what would I say?
Yeah. What would you say?
I guess some people find it very easy. I definitely found it hard because I don't normally think sometimes in that manner. But your typical statements: believe in yourself. Yes, you can. It's okay. Have guides. Make sure that you believe in the truth of things, and things can always get better. Simple things like that. But I'm on my phone, so I feel like I'm going all over the place here. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've just always have had that strength of whatever situation I was in, I was going to make the best of it and make sure that the turnout would be beneficial for myself and others if that was the case. And I think it's worked for me.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I maintained friends through college, that are still good friends, traveling to Alaska and everything. So it's been very good. I've been lucky.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Alice.
That is such a good question. It's a hard question too. But I think if I could tell myself, my young self, anything, I would tell myself that you don't have to please everyone. In other words, there's a certain limit to that. That said, if you have to err on the side of either one, be nice. I don't think I ever bullied anybody or ever didn't even say hi to someone who said hi to me in the hallway. And it used to really annoy me because I had a group of friends that were difficult sometimes. Some of them weren't bullies, but they could socially bully people, if you know what I mean. But hey, nobody ever said I'm not going to be your friend because you say hi to other people in the hallway. So, So, yeah, I think one of the things that I would tell myself is you don't have to please everybody, because that was an ongoing problem throughout my life until I became a nurse, working in psych and realizing that that's called codependency when you go overboard with it, And when you do it right, it's just called being a nice person. So, yeah, that's where I would go with that.
Yeah. Carol, before I get to John, did you want to try that answer? Did you want to try answering that question?
I think that I wish that, people always said it would get better, after the bullying, and that I would be able to, that you can make it through. And I think as a result of a lot of things that occurred in my life, I became a much stronger person than I even believed myself that I could be.
Yep.
I mean, I was talking to Patrice earlier today, trying to figure out how to maneuver onto the computer for tonight and that type of thing. And I realized that, as a result, I lost my dad when I was very young. I was 13.
Yeah.
And I had, and he was my support. He was the one who, I was very close to. And my mom and brother were very close. And so when my dad died, I was kind of left adrift, without friends, my mother went back to work, my brother went off to college. And I just wish that I had had more self-confidence in myself had more belief that I could do anything.
Yeah.
And that even if it was wrong, it was okay to do it and try it. And even if I failed, at least I made the effort and I tried. And as an adult, like I said, I gave my parents 2 weeks notice, drove down to Atlanta, no place to live, no job, nothing, and managed to make a life for myself. And, I guess if I could look back, I would say, trust that everything is going to work out okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say the same for myself. I knew I was smart, but you weren't supposed to show it. You weren't supposed to exhibit it when I went to school. And then when I went to college, it was all the way to the PhD, level. And, I could be as smart as I wanted. And I didn't give a shit what anybody thought about it. And so I just did well. I was happy. I've always done what I wanted to do. And and the last one I'm going to ask this of is John. What would your answer be? Can we go with this same question?
Yes, if you can repeat it, please.
The question is, thinking back who you are now, what would you have told who you were then? Some kind of advice.
Don't take any shit from anybody. Excuse my French. I had a miserable childhood and adolescence from being bullied, just like Carol. And the family life wasn't exactly as good as I would have wanted to be. And I think the best thing that I did was move to California from Long Island, where I crafted a life that I believe is very, very successful. So, what would I have done after high school? I would have invested money in, stocks and stuff like that. But what I'm getting out of this whole thing is all of us. All right? Hey, cat, don't scratch me. Cat is scratching me. Beyond that, Glenn, I really, really don't know what to say. All right? I have a great life now. All right? I live comfortably, and I've managed to parlay everything into what I have now. I don't know how much more to say.
No, it's when I think of my life, the two most important people in my life are my children. And if I had changed any aspect of my life, I wouldn't have them. And they are the most important thing. And my only regret is I wasn't a doctor, an MD. But if I were an MD instead of a PhD, I wouldn't have had my kids. I'd have some other kids, and I'd be just as happy with them, I suppose. But I love my life, and I don't regret it. And there's water right out there in that direction.
I think the line. I think the line is that path is for your steps alone, and follow it.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I wanted to let Alice know. I was in a bar in the island of Koh Samui, and they had the TV on, and they showed the earthquake in the city in San Francisco. And I had just left there because I lived outside the city.
No, another person I couldn't find.
Yeah, I went to San Jose State, and
That's
then
so
and I ended my last job before Hopkins was Google, working with Google. So
well, making it very strange is the people that basically own the whole island of Cozumel are good friends of our family. So we should have known each other.
Cool.
So you were there at Loma Prieta, right?
In Loma Prieta.
Yeah. Yeah, I could not believe another huge earthquake. I had just gotten out of the one in Mexico City in 85. And then there we were, what was it, 89, I think, was the one in Loma Prieta, yeah.
And then I was in the one in LA. And my
Northridge.
Yeah, Northridge. I was working in LA, and our building fell apart. Anyway, we've run over time by 5 minutes. So I know that all of you.
We'll go fund you. Keep it going.
Anyway, I know you have better things to be doing with your Monday evenings than sitting here talking to me. And I am so glad that you were all able to join. I do appreciate it. We are having another class show in the week after 4th of July. And then, believe it or not, there's another subgroup of 1971 people that aren't even connected to Patrice, who has put this together, and they're putting it together as well. So I have two scheduled, two more for 1971. But let me ask this, Carol or Eileen or Alice or Steve, are you going to the reunion?
I'm going to the reunion.
I'm about 90%. I have a wedding in Buffalo the same week, but I'm seeing if I can work it out it's not my wedding, luckily. Because I'm the third one, and I'm not doing that again. No, I'm still married to my second husband. But.
Yes, I remember. And Carol, are you thinking of going?
I probably will not be able to make it.
Okay.
But if you do, you're sitting with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be missed.
And Alice, please give me a call when you come through Atlanta.
I absolutely am going to. I'm just mad that I wasn't better friends with you in high school. You should have told me. I didn't know you got picked on. That really bothers me.
Yeah.
Eileen, didn't I escort you back to your car on the 40th?
You did. Thank you very much. I appreciated that. That was a nice walk we did.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
You did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
See you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.